big hammer downer curveball, and he's a pitcher going forward. I mean, he's so athletic, 6'3", 190. I think the mound potential's better than the shortstop potential.
You've been at this event more than 2 decades. You know what it takes to succeed in Jupiter. You also know what scouts are looking for and the keys to success.
We have one of the best right-handed hitters in the country in Drew Burrows, one of the best left-handed hitters in the country in Kevin McGonigal. It's whichever pitcher stays the warmest and can help out, because they've already had to win 2 games today, both of these teams. As they gather for a quick, brief moment of prayer together, it's another chance to watch history, because this game always, every year, is riddled with future pros and future college stars.
Of course, and this game, Darren, almost seems anticlimactic. We've seen so much baseball here over the last 5 days. These teams are both playing their 9th game in 5 days, if you include each one's exhibition game prior to the start of pool play. But in a way, it's the exact opposite, of, obviously, of anticlimactic. All you need to do is watch the semifinal and win celebrations to see how much these players have invested in this. For many of them, it's their last game with their respective travel teams. They're fired up. The coaches are fired up. And we're fired up here. It should be a great game between 2 of the top programs in the country.
Campbell Smithwick has gone out behind home plate. He is ready to work, and certainly ready to work with his battery mate Bradley Link, who pitched 1 scoreless frame in the incredible come-from-behind win and the really crazy win. It was a 6-5 Canes National Mets scout team 6-5 win. 5 of those 6 runs for the Canes national team scored in the 6th and the 7th inning, a real celebration. And then on the other side, again, battles late into games, fighting and fighting along. And in the end, this top-tier team won it 6-2. But they scored all 5 of their runs in the final 3 innings as well.
Yeah, these teams are both feeling good after that victory, and both teams kind of took a different path. Top tier kind of struggled early. They lost their exhibition game. They tied their first pool play game. They really didn't get it going until yesterday, but they've scored 6 or more runs in 4 of their last 5 games. They're very hot offensively, whereas the Canes, well, they started real fast. They're the number 2 seed after pool play. We're playing really well. They've had a few real close games in the playoffs, like the aforementioned semifinal game with a walk-off hit from Kevin Gallagher. But this is interesting watching Bradley Link on the mound. He only threw 9 pitches to pick up the win in that semifinal. Win was 93-95. But he's a reliever mentality type of guy, 5'10", 180 pounds, some effort in the delivery, but he's going to bring pure gas, and we'll see how long he can last. And after that, it's Johnny Holstaff for the Canes.
I love that phrase. From Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, Bradley Link is committed to go play for Tracy Smith at the University of Michigan. He's the number 10 ranked right-handed pitcher in this state, and as you said, it's a chance to stay hot. His top-tier 5-star lineup, Ariel Antigua. We mentioned Drew Burris. He's just such a talented hitter and a lifelong travel ball player. A.J. Ewing, PG All-American Alfonso Rosario, Wesley Mendez, Cooper McMullen, Christopher Wally, Landon Morotis, another PG All-American, Riley Jackson behind the plate. The starting lineup for the top-tier 5-star team.
Well, the top of that top-tier lineup has been what's really, really driving the club. If there's an major MVP right now in this tournament, it is the leadoff hitter for top-tier Ariel Antigua. 7 for 18 at the plate with 5 walks, scored 9 runs, 3 extra base hits, including a home run in the quarterfinals, 3 stolen bases on top of it. He's done everything offensively, and Burris and Ewing haven't been far behind. So these 3 hitters are the 3 key hitters in the top-tier lineup.
Glad to have you with us and our production team. Again, we've been out at the quad. We'll be sharing a 2-hour special in a show documentary style from here. Go find that. But for now, it's all about the championship. Ariel Antigua steps in, and he is ready to roll. The young man who spent his time as a Perfect Game Select Festival athlete, has hung around that top 100 space in the nation, heading into his senior year of high school. First pitch is a fastball. We're underway in the title game. Glad to have you with us.
And Antigua, not big, 5'10"-ish, but a lot more power there than you'd expect out of a hitter at that size. As I mentioned, had a home run in the quarterfinals, big swing there for strike 1. But also a patient hitter. He'll take his walks. He's got the speed to steal bases. And it's just, as I said, having a great tournament.
The right-hander, Bradley Link. As we said, stayed hot. He's got dirt all over that uniform as he fires that fastball low.
That dirt might be from the dog pile they had in shallow right field after Gallagher's game-winning hit. That was a win the championship style dog pile the Canes had.
Antigua, the number 7 ranked shortstop in Florida, Ariel Antigua. He has a 10 PG rating during his time as a PG prospect, a member of the 2019-14 U Select Festival roster. 17 years old, and David, you guys have scouted him at 80 PG events as he waves at a breaking ball. Down he goes, and a nice job. Campbell Smithwick behind the plate turns it into out number 1.
Nice slider there from Link. He's really pretty much thrown all fastballs, both in his previous game and in this at-bat. Power slider there. Antigua was not looking for it, obviously. We have 1 out.
Drew Burris joined Antigua as a Select Festival athlete in 2019. He then, this past summer, was a Perfect Game All-American, one of the best right-handed hitters in the country, and he's a Georgia Tech commit. The number 5 overall outfielder in the United States is ranked by Perfect Game.
Well, Burris has huge right-handed power at the plate. Another, like Antigua, not a big athlete, although very strong, very well developed. Has hit 11 homers this year in PG action, but so far his offensive contribution hitting in the number 2 hole has been getting on base. He's got 7 walks in 8 games, along with 4 hits and a hit by pitch, has scored 7 runs. So he's been more of a table setter for top tier rather than the big run producer that he often is.
We've seen him at perfect game events touch 97 with his outfield arm, 95 with his infield arm. We've seen him run a 6.4 60. He's a student of the game, as his father has been his coach for so long, and Bradley Link is catching his breath here. Maybe a little fatigue, maybe a little dehydration behind the mound as he goes down to a knee. It's hot. There's pressure. There's stress. This is understandable. We just want to make sure he's okay right away, right? That's the most important thing, the future of these young men.
Yeah, that's the major concern now, is you don't often see a pitcher go down on one knee. Sometimes they'll go back behind the mound and take a few extra breaths, but, you know, Link doesn't look very comfortable out there, and coach is obviously out there tending to him. Got some water from the dugout.
Teammates cheer for him. They bring him a water out there. And he goes back to work. Umpires continue to hang for just a minute.
Pretty sure the home plate umpire just signaled to the top tier bench that is not going to count as a visit to the mound.
Jeff Petty, the president and CEO, head coach of the 17, now 18U national team as they play in their senior year. Some of the names we get used to talking about: Dan Gibson, the general manager and the head coach of the 14U national team. Cody Wheeler is the director of player development for the Canes. So many great baseball men on that group and their team in the championship. Fastball is fouled off at home plate. What are some of the parts of his swing that impress you the most?
Well, the way he converts that compact strength. He's not a big player, as I said. You can look at that muscle, you know, that musculature, and how he converts that into bat speed. It's a whole body swing. He gets into it from his lower half, and he can really drive the ball. Gets that one under that one, though, and a high pop up to second base.
Yeah, Kevin Gallagher makes the play. That's a good pitch. If you can engage a hitter with a high spin rate fastball up in the zone, those are tough to drive. To get the hands on top of that ball is difficult. There's a pitch again. A little bit of two-seam run in on him,
yeah,
too.
I think that was the big deal. He couldn't get his barrel to it. It was in on him. I've always liked the way Burris closes so early. He was in a position to hit that, but it was just better stuff, better location.
Alabama commit A.J. Ewing. He is a senior. He is out of Springboro, Ohio, and A.J. hits a high fly ball to right field. Tommy Roldan, over, under, out, and he puts it away. We played one half in the championship game, getting ready to swing the bat. The Canes Mets scout team.
Perfect game. On and off the field, it's a way of life. And now, that same passion, your passion, is represented in the brand new exclusive PG Gear and Clothing line. Designed with you in mind, the looks that you live in, whether during a sweat-soaked workout or a round of BP. Make your memories in perfect game gear. Thoughtful, comfortable, perfect for you. Visit shop.perfectgame.org.
I feel like Mike Jordan, give me the rock and I'm scoring. Ay, came from the bottom, that's foreign. I swear that I'm up for the sun in the morning. I told him this ain't a game.
David and Darren and you're hanging out with us, bottom of the first inning championship game. John Abraham is on the mound out of Tampa, Florida. 17-year-old John Abraham, standing 6'3", and an uncommitted athlete. This is a wonderful way to open some eyes getting this chance and on a large stage performing. Perfect Game has him ranked as the number 27 right-handed pitcher in the state of Florida. That's a bit about him biographically. David, you know anything about the stuff?
Oh, the stuff is firm. He's not uncommitted, I think, because he hasn't had offers. Maybe he just hasn't had the right offer. He's been up to 90. In fact, at the Florida qualifier just a couple weeks ago down in Sanford, Florida, he threw 4 perfect innings with 5 strikeouts, was 88 to 90. So it's a good arm. It's a 6'3", 190, nice body. Notably, he has not yet pitched in this event. The top-tier Roos have thrown 15 different pitchers in their 8 games, none of them John Abraham. So this might be the freshest arm they could possibly have ready to throw.
What a cool chance for him. He's dealing with a very tough lineup, and that man's at the top of it, Kevin McGonigal. You saw his name. One of the finest hitters in the nation, right or left-handed, a perfect game All-American. We had a chance to talk hitting with him the other day. Let's tell you about his mates. Gallagher right behind him. Johnny Farmello had a big hit in the last game. Add to Campbell Smithwick. Tommy Roldan, PG All-American. Trent Caraway, it's Luke Lavin. Ryan Jaros and Macon Winslow, PG All-American as well.
And that is a loaded lineup top to bottom. And Johnny Farmello and Gavin Gallagher with the big hits in the semifinal win. Notably, Gallagher was hitting 6 last game, and that big hit knocked him up to number 2 in the lineup. Maybe a reward for that.
Hello, Mr. Breaking Ball to start things, and a good one. Abraham, his head coach, Miguel Menendez at Tampa Jesuit. The right-hander goes back to that pitch. Runs it right under the hands of Kevin McGonigal. David, what's the best part real quickly about his swing?
Oh, excuse me, Darren. Yeah, with McGonigal, he sees the ball so well. I think if you were to measure his eyesight, it's probably 20/10, and he's very patient. He sees the ball. He knows, he sees it, recognizes a pitch he can go the other way with. He also recognizes the pitches he can turn on and pull, and he will definitely take a walk if you don't challenge him in the strike zone. He's not going to expand.
On the breaking ball, high fly ball, center field, tracking, recovering, and making the play out there is Drew Burris. I interrupted you a moment ago, though. You were speaking about this matchup in this game.
I was going to make an observation about the top-tier 5-star Roos pitching staff. And I mentioned they had 15 pitchers who've already thrown. They have their 16th pitcher on the mound now. And they have 2 All-Americans on the team who have a pitching background who have not pitched. Landon Morotis has been playing right field the entire time, seen some action at third base. I suspect he's shut down as a pitcher. He threw in the All-American game. And then Aiden Miller, the number 4 ranked player in the country, primary third baseman, only played the first 3 games, and I believe he went home back down to Naples, early in the tournament. But he's a 95-mile-an-hour arm too. So this is just a hugely deep pitching staff.
An opportunity for Gavin Gallagher to hit. North Carolina commit out of Apex, North Carolina. Attends the Pro 5 Baseball Academy. And that fastball looks even more firm when you back it up with a good breaking ball.
Gallagher, he was the hero of that semifinal win. We were watching it on the stream from over in the quad, and lined a ball into left field with a runner on second base to score the winning run. And as I said, that was a big-time dog pile on top of Gallagher after that one.
High spin rate heater up here.
That pitch has always gotten people out, I guess, but especially when you have the big breaking ball. But you see pitchers throwing it more and more now that it's a big pitch in the big leagues.
Gallagher, a .591 on base percentage prior to being struck out there in this event. Johnny Farmello looks at a breaking ball that dives low. Farmello, the center fielder. Beaten with that one. It's lifted into foul territory. Landon Morotis heads toward the dugout, and he has room. This is not his home ballpark at all. That is not an easy play with the sunshine high up above. I'm going to tell you this right now. They may be tired, but they all have intense focus. Good defense so far.
It started with a simple idea: to break what the game knows, to evolve the standard. It's time to revolutionize defense. Printed in 4D for a breakthrough in technology. Ultra lightweight, resilient, form fit, game ready and pro tested. Designed for a revolution. Engineered for defense. The Rev 1X.
Bradley Link continues to warm on the mound. He's going to be a part of our documentary, and it was great seeing the relaxed, passionate nature as Taylor Gillum, who's out there as part of our incredible video and content team, went out to the mound to film him warming up. And his teammates were cheering and yelling from that dugout. I mean, they were like, "Oh, there he goes. There goes Taylor." It's hot for him, too. He's the best. He's the one who took a foul ball off the leg at the All-American Classic at Chase Field and then had to chase the All-Americans to the pool. Link, as we mentioned, the son of Scott and Wendy. He is a Michigan commit. Father, an Eastern Illinois student. Mom went to North Carolina, Mom Wendy, and that, of course, is maybe part of the reason. At Dwyer High School, he's a 4.6 GPA student. His head coach there is Alex Morales. David, I think we were concerned a little bit how he went down. I think he's just cramping up.
I think so. Just warming up. He's stepped back off the rubber a couple times during warm-ups to stretch. It looks like his hip or his thigh. And I've already seen he's changed his delivery a little bit in his warm-ups where he's not able to drive or he doesn't feel comfortable driving off his back leg, and he's really rotating hard to make up for that. So we'll see what happens with his stuff and his command here in the second inning, if that is indeed stiffening up on him.
And the adrenaline kicks in. Let's see how the body responds. This is a perfect game All-American Alfonso Rosario, the #1 player in the state of New Jersey. As a matter of fact, at Perfect Games National Showcase, he flexed a 101-mile arm from the outfield.
And hit about 6 balls into the Tropicana left field seats and beyond the seats during batting practice.
Breaking ball misses down and away to Alfonso. P27 Academy is where the 18-year-old attends school. It's been a pleasure to be around, and at this event, he's performed. Fastball got the inside corner for a strike. He's got 4 hits at this event. He's got a pair of walks as well with 3 RBIs, a .381 on base percentage.
And what I like about his line, only 3 strikeouts and 17 at-bats, because he takes a big hack. And if he squares one up, it's going to go a long way. The outfielders for the Canes playing well back. They know who he is. All the players know who their opponents are at this level. But again, you know, this field is big. It's played big all week. The ball dies in the outfield. Wind looks like it's coming straight in from center field. So chances of seeing a deep gap or a home run, even with players this talented, fairly slim, I would think.
Just off the plate, a little late cut to that fastball. Rosario played for the Bronx Bombers at the 17U World Series. A double at that event as he rolls that one foul. Played for this 5-star team at the 17U WWBA, and also for the 5-star team at the 17U National Elite event. Two-two. Breaking ball hit it. Talked about compensating, David, and sometimes when the legs feel fatigued, maybe you rush with your body, and then it's hard for the arm to catch up.
Yeah, and I'm a bit surprised there isn't action in the Canes bullpen. He's down to 86, 87 miles an hour this inning, which is a big drop from the 93, 95 he had in the semifinal game. And it's just a matter, he doesn't trust his lower half now. He's spinning with his upper half instead of driving with his lower half. And he's just much more arm and a lot less body in his delivery. And you're naturally going to lose velocity doing that.
Vanderbilt awaits the arrival of Wesley Mendez out of Tampa, Florida. The number 71 overall ranked player in the land and a Tampa Jesuit student, another one.
Hey, we could take the story of the deep top-tier pitching staff one more step. Wesley Mendez was one of the top left-handed pitching prospects in the country 2 years ago, but had Tommy John and has really just pretty much hit since then. He's a very talented hitter, obviously, but a young man who, when he was 15 years old, could reach the low 90s from the left side.
Infield eases in a couple of steps in the middle. They're hunting a double play. Outfield playing straight up. Infield, McGonigal at short, Gallagher at second. Fastball dots the outside corner for a strike. This top-tiered team with a morning victory over the San Diego Show and then a win over the Dirtbags. They will have to go 3-0 today to win it. It's driven back to the bag. It's a fun history, too, when you look back on this event. A team, the perfect game put together when the event was first born back in 1998. Regional team won the first two events, and then a Baseball America sponsored team won this event in 2000. A Baseball America team would win it again in 2002, as that one is rolled foul. In the middle of it all, you saw the Miami Sluggers win it in 01. Then names maybe you've heard of. The East Cobb Astros won it in 03. Chet Lemon's Juice won it in 05. The ABD Bulldogs, that I believe may have been Freddie Freeman or Nolan Arenado on one of those teams, California-based. They won it, David, in 08. We've seen the Dirtbags win it. We've seen Marucci Elite, the Canes. Pretty regular name, as that's a strike, and down goes Wesley Mendez.
And we do have some action in the Canes bullpen. Michael Miller, number 24, big right-hander who's only thrown 2 innings at this championship. Getting his early warm-up tosses. There you have Miller down in the left field bullpen.
Cooper McMullen. Out of Bon Air, Georgia, Tottenhall Square Academy. This is a player playing up. He is playing baseball in his junior year right now.
One of very few juniors on this top tier 5-star team. But very talented, 6'7" runner, big right-handed bat, also 92 off the mound.
This is so reminiscent of what we have known to become modern postseason baseball. I mean, you could just sense they're trying to get linked through this inning. To the backstop it goes, and that will allow Alfonso Rosario to move up into scoring position, where he greets his fellow PG All-American, Kevin McGonigal. They chat for a moment there.
We could see Cooper McMullen on the mound later. He's thrown 32 innings and been up to 92. He hasn't pitched in this event. Sometimes you just don't know whether someone's shut down on the mound or not at this time of the year. You know, reaching mid-October, these kids have been playing for 8, 9, 10 months.
Has to bring the hands in. It's lifted back of third base. Ryan Jaros is there, and he makes the play for the second out of the inning. They get Cooper McMullen just the right kind of life to run that in.
Yeah, and I think McMullen was conscious that McGonigal was holding the runner at second base, keeping Rosario tight, and there was a huge hole on that left side of the Canes infield. You can see right there where McGonigal is, and he tried to pull his hands in, get the barrel to the ball, get it to left field, just didn't quite get the barrel there in time.
Christopher Wally, the left-handed bat, gets the call. Florida International is his commitment. Inverness, Florida is where he is from, as he has to back out of there with a fastball that's inside. To the senior in high school, Wally. Wally will hop up on the mound, work as a left-handed pitcher as well. Speaking of the mound, he hits it back to that mound on one hop. Bradley Link, who's been fighting some cramps and exhaustion, all he does is throw another 0 up on that scoreboard. Bottom half we go. Championship game, Jupiter.
It started with a simple idea: to break what the game knows, to evolve the standard. It's time to revolutionize defense. Printed in 4D for a breakthrough in technology. Ultra lightweight, resilient, form fit, game ready and pro tested. Designed for a revolution. Engineered for defense. The Rev 1X.
Christopher Wally makes the final out. He goes back to work. Campbell Smithwick, Tommy Roldan, and Trent Caraway. With David and Darren back here in Jupiter, Florida.
I wanted to give a hat tip to Bradley Link, who went out there and without his best stuff, without close to his best stuff, really went out and competed that last inning, did the job. You know, I strongly doubt I expect his day is done, and a great day with a win in the semifinals and 2 shutout innings here in the finals. But yeah, he gutted it out there and did a great job.
Innings, 1 inning, 2 innings, they all become extremely valuable. This isn't game 1 of this event. This, again, really does resemble baseball's postseason, where you piece it together as you go with talent you're used to. Campbell Smithwick is the catcher, left-handed stick out of Oxford, Mississippi, at 2023. This Ole Miss commit pushes a bunt up the third base line on a throw with the dig at first. Got him! John Abraham, off-balance throw. We just talked about Wally. What a sweeping snag that is. A beautiful play.
Well, squaring the bunt on the first hit by the catcher puts down a beautiful bunt here. You couldn't have rolled the ball out there any better, but it takes a great play by Abraham, a great pick by Wally to get that out.
He got him. I mean, by a hair, but he got him. Nice job by our umpiring crew. They've been on it all weekend long. They're tired. Maryland man, Tommy Roldan, a young man who is committed to go to the University of Virginia. Tommy, when speaking of his Canes team, says, and I quote, "It's the most professional travel organization there is. It's allowed me to treat my game with a level of seriousness, but also have fun and make friends." Tommy's the son of Wendy and Doug, and the sibling to Nick and Megan, who is 21 years old.
John Abraham has impressed me so far. So often at events like this, we see a pitcher come out with nerves. We saw it over and over in pool play on the games that we broadcast. You know, first hitter, second hitter, walks. take a few hitters to get the heartbeat down and get going. But for somebody who hasn't pitched so far in this event, fresh arm, but he hasn't broken that bubble of, okay, I'm nervous, and he's coming in firing strikes from the get-go.
And that's been a friend of his, though that breaking ball was up nearly as he dives into the netting, nearly made the play there. Wow, Riley Jackson. Full body, he nearly, almost like a fish swimming in some nearby water, completely got caught up in that net.
And he was fighting the sun, too. The sun is right above him, too, fighting that, and then it's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to run into the wall. Wow. Sportsmanship by the Canes coaches. We're out of the dugout right away to help him out, pat him on the head.
That's a big, big effort by Jackson there. Wow. Riley, Melbourne, Florida native, and the Florida State commit. There's that breaking ball again. David, it looks like it's literally being dropped off of a tower.
Yeah, it goes down as a slider. It's at slider velocity, but no, he's getting on top of that so well. I'm going to count that as a slider, but it's that downer slider. It has the power. It has the short, really late break. But he's on top of it, getting his fingers on top of that at release so well.
Trent Carraway has some great-looking shoes as he digs in. They match the Mets' orange, certainly. They also will work at Oregon State. And he is committed to play up at Oregon State for Coach Canham, that beautiful campus. And the work that they have done, a perennial national champion in the Pac-12. Excited to see Trent make that move, if it's not to the pros. What opens your eyes about Trent, David?
I think he's a very professional hitter. I think it's such a simple swing, and all that strength that he has, 6'2", 205, he's able to use it because he's so simple. He's not doing a lot in his setup. He's very calm. Look, very little movement. All he's got to do is explode. He's having a good tournament, hitting .318, 7 base hits, 6 RBIs, which is co-leads the Canes hitters. So having a very strong championship as well.
2-1. Gets a high call of a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes to count. So he's a big physical presence, too. But he plays like he's smaller. That's the best way I know to say it. Very athletic for his size. Stands almost 6'3", about 210 pounds. As that breaking ball is served to the right side. It's got wild spin on it, and just in time for the out. A.J. Ewing, that was almost like a ride at Disney World trying to get to that baseball.
That was a heck of a play. That was a great defensive inning for the top-tier Roos. Even the plays that weren't outs with Riley Jackson were spectacular.
It started with a simple idea: to break what the game knows, to evolve the standard. It's time to revolutionize defense. Printed in 4D for a breakthrough in technology. Ultra lightweight, resilient, form fit, game ready and pro tested. Designed for a revolution. Engineered for defense. The Rev 1X.
This is the only show devoted to amateur baseball. This is Perfect Game Weekly, presented by Rawlings.
Left-handed stroke, a lot of whip, a lot of natural loft to it.
Ever since I started baseball, I've been working hard to reach my goal, and that is one day to get drafted and to make it to the MLB.
A two-seam changeup would be throwing a two-seam fastball.
Again, give his team 2 scoreless innings when he obviously wasn't feeling 100% physically. Great effort. It's that kind of effort that sometimes leads to victories, that little extra effort. But now we're going to get Michael Miller on the mound. Miller, a big 6'4", 210-pound right-hander from Mendota, excuse me.
He drops the first one below the strike zone to Tyler Zadalis. South Carolina commit out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Good zip on that fastball, misses just off the plate.
Yeah, Miller's thrown once before in this event. Pitched 2 innings against the Royal Scout team in pool play.
The Duke commit will work out of the stretch despite the bases being empty. And boy, that's a heavy sinking fastball.
I was thinking the same thing. That's a heavy fastball.
Wow.
He's topped out at 91 before, but that just looks like more with all that heaviness and life. And
2-1 with the son of Beth and Mike on the mound, and Miller. Interesting, he wears a Mets uniform as part of the Mets scout team. Kane's then Mets scout team put this team together that he's learned so much he'll share with us from Jacob deGrom, who's another man who this past season, which is now wrapped for him, wore a Mets uniform. He has become, David, in my communications with players, for pitchers for sure, he's become top guy.
Yeah, and that's obviously what he does on the mound and the progression of his career. I remember watching him 5-6 years ago, and for a pitcher to go from where he was mid-20s to where he is now in his early 30s, even ignoring the injuries and stuff, is fairly unprecedented. But then on the other hand, he didn't even pitch. He was didn't pitch in high school, rarely pitched at Stetson. He was a shortstop and only really started pitching his junior year at Stetson. deGrom, that is.
This is PG All-American Landon Morotis. Number 13 ranked right-handed pitcher in the land. He's got a bat in his hand in this game as he is playing over at third base. This is a talented two-way prospect for sure. And as he goes to North Carolina State, if he doesn't sign as a professional, we'll see how long he is able to play two positions.
Yeah, and he's pretty much a 50-50 guy right now for, I think, most people. I think when we were picking the All-American teams, that's certainly the way that we discussed it. We lean a little bit on the pitching side, which is why he threw an inning, working 91-94 in the All-American game. But obviously to hold down a starting spot for top-tier five-star Roos, you've got to be pretty talented position player as well.
Has touched 94 as a pitcher. This time he's got a bat in his hand, and he takes a good breaking ball that misses down and away. Ran a 6.7 60 at Perfect Games National Showcase and threw 93 from the outfield. Landon Morotis. Miller with a breaking ball and a high fly ball to right field. Rolled on, comes in. He is called off by his second baseman, Gallagher. He feels like he had it the entire time. One out in the inning with a runner on first.
Haven't seen any sign at all that Tyler Zadalis at first base is tempted to steal. Very conservative lead so far, but maybe that changes with one out.
O'Galley High School in Melbourne, Florida. The high school that produced Prince Fielder a generation ago. That's Riley Jackson. We saw Jackson dive into the net, make an incredible effort last half inning. Trying to catch a ball. This is a young man that's committed to go to Florida State.
Did you ever get to see Prince Fielder play in high school?
No, not in high school. I was the team's announcer when he was drafted.
Okay.
So we saw clips and video of him, but never got to see him play in high school.
He might be the most impressive teenage batting practice hitter of all time. It was awe-inspiring what he would do in batting practice.
It's funny, you scouted it, you saw it, and that's all we heard about is what you're saying.
Yeah, it was incredible.
My greatest joy as it ties to Prince Fielder was I was able to be the voice of his first major league home run of what turned out to be a nice career.
Wow. That is kind of special.
Riley wags that bat behind his helmet. Did it get him? It did. And you can tell by Miller's reaction and the dugout's reaction that they wanted some sort of an effort, they think now, to move out of the way of the baseball. That's what they think.
That pitch was diving in. You could see the movement. I wasn't even looking at the broadcast. And that's just really tailing hard inside. Yes, there was effort to get out of the way. There was plenty of effort to get out of the way.
Jeff Petty has finished his debate. The head man over there for the Canes, and it was a healthy but respectful back and forth, and we move on now.
Yeah, that kind of talk is more just to set the tone for later. If it happens later in the game, especially if a Canes hitter were to get hit by a pitch and the umpire might be seated in his mind, it's like, I can't call that two different ways. If Canes hitter might actually turn a shoulder in.
Ariel Antigua, who struck out back in the first inning. There's that kind of movement again. It's heavy and it dives down and into the young man out of Trinity Christian Academy. Antigua stands 5'8". And currently is ranked right around that number 100 spot amongst all players in North America. That's on the ground towards short. One. On to first. Not in time. Hurrying home with the slide and the run. Zadalis scores the first run. Top Tier Roos five-star team jumps on top in the championship game on pure hustle.
That's just great game awareness, great hustle, no hesitation, I'm sure, going around third. I didn't think they had a chance at this double play. Antigua just way too well. Yeah, no hesitation around third base. Scores easily.
And so now Drew Burris with a chance to add on. This is where you really love to punch while you have him down. And he takes a fastball that's outside. 1-0 the count to the PG All-American. Drew popped up to the second baseman back in the first inning.
Burris is known for his power. He's got 3 doubles so far in this championship.
Nice job by Smithwick. Turned that glove and wrist over and almost came up on the baseball, but kept it in front of him. David, you see players grow up in your role all the time. You scout thousands and thousands of players annually. For me, this is one that I can say I've been able to see him grow up. And I can't say that about too many because we're not at every event, but because of the leadership of his father, Andy Burris, who runs that five-star program, and because of seeing Drew at multiple showcases, I can remember when he kind of was a little boy.
Oh, yeah. He's been playing at PG events for 6 years. He's played in over 300 PG games, over 1,000 plate appearances. Think about how much baseball that is. And yeah, watching players grow up is one of the most rewarding parts of it. It's like renewing your profession every year. But for somebody like Drew Burris, it's especially rewarding because he's been such a constant.
1-0 the count. And when you become somewhat of a quote-unquote famous player amongst your peers, and that's what Drew is, certainly the favorite part is the humility that still accompanies him. I think his dad always, and now it's Drew's reminder. I mean, Dad's done a great job, but I think it's the constant reminder of how much bigger this game can be than you, as we'll get a visit to the mound to talk with Mike Miller.
Yeah, and I can tell you from being at the National Showcase so much and down on the field in All-American practices, the one thing that will set off a peer group against a player is when someone has that sense of entitlement, the sense of I'm better than you. That's an automatic danger sign. And you rarely see it. But when you do, it stands out. And as you said, Burris is one of the best known amongst his peers because he's been around so long, and his style of play sort of, encourages that too. He's always been a scrapper, a hustler, a leader, and it shows in the respect his peers give him.
You saw a moment ago the South Carolina commit Reese Markham warming in the pen. 2-0 the count to A.J. Ewing. 3-0 the count to A.J. Ewing. Ohioan headed to Alabama. Play for Coach Bohannon there. Tried to duck that 3-0 pitch. 3-1 is the count.
If I were to have a few picks to click if they make it to college, in Ewing's case, he would be one of mine. He has such quick twitch tools. Didn't get all of that one. But someone I think is just going to really blossom if he does get to Alabama.
What a great call, David. And earlier today out at the Quad. But it means a lot, and it's a memory you'll have forever. They continue the conversations about pitching decisions. Luke Lavin leads it off against John Abraham.
I think it's something you can liken to, like in football, you get to the Super Bowl. That's like sometimes the biggest accomplishment. You get to the Final Four in college basketball. You know, here getting to the championship game is such a slog through so many innings of baseball. You know, scoring runs one at a time, and runs have been so scarce in this Jupiter. This has really been a low-scoring tournament.
Oh, what a breaking ball. 1-2 the count to Lavin, who is from Laguna Beach, California. The 2023 is a Stanford commit. He's a daughter of Rochelle and Mike. The son, I should say. Mom is Rochelle. That breaking ball was nasty.
I don't think there's any college coaches in the stands right now, but if there were, they would be going, wait, this kid is uncommitted? He's throwing 2 pitches for strikes. He's got a calm demeanor on the mound. He's up to 92.
Ryan Jaros out of Cranford, New Jersey. The Georgia Tech commit fouls that one off. His 2 faves, well, they're still around in the postseason. Austin Riley and Manny Machado. Loves them both. Good pitch, fastball called up and in, though.
Well, you got 2 players there that are going to get MVP votes when that balloting happens. And in fact, Machado might get a lot of them.
There's interesting ways to figure out if a player is a good player, right? And there's simplistic ways we all look at it. Ranking is top of the list. You guys do a great job. But if a player is yet to play his senior season and he's already been All-State twice in New Jersey, then you're a heck of a player. That makes that pitch an even better pitch. But Jaros has been that heavily decorated, and it's strong, the statement being made by Abraham right now.
Well, what we've seen from Abraham with that breaking ball is really 2 different breaking balls. He's got the one that you saw there twice, the one that he throws the breaking ball for a strike. That's the one he throws down in the zone. He's thrown that a couple times. and he throws a different one, I think, that's a little slower, a little bigger, that he throws for the strike. It's a swing and miss pitch, and it's a strike pitch, and they're two separate pitches, pretty much thrown the same way, but with different intent.
From Hertford, North Carolina, comes Macon Winslow. Macon, the Duke commit, and the son of Allison and Leary. Fastball just on the outside corner, just got a piece of it, so he got the top corner and the bottom corner of that strike zone. We have been seeing Abraham, we meaning Perfect Game. Breaking ball, he just struck out the side. Wow, what a statement being made by John Abraham. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strikeouts in the championship game. They call that stepping up.
It started with a simple idea: to break what the game knows, to evolve the standard. It's time to revolutionize defense. Printed in 4D for a breakthrough in technology. Ultra lightweight, resilient, form fit, game ready and pro tested. Designed for a revolution. Engineered for defense. The Rev 1X.
Interesting talking to those that are experts of this sport. Guys like you, David. And it's fun to hear them say, without me baiting them, because I'm glad to bait people to go down this road, that this is the best amateur baseball tournament, if not North America, on the planet. When we say amateur, we understand it's not similar to the College World Series, the field of 64. That's different. In a way, that's different. Now, those are still amateurs, but pure amateur baseball, high school age baseball, this called the best tournament there is.
And I think the most impressive alliteration of that is when you talk to big leaguers, present big leaguers who've played here, and you ask them about their memories. And unfailingly, they will mention playing in Jupiter, especially if they played on a team that achieved something, got to the playoffs, maybe won a championship.
Within the last couple of years, I believe it was in San Francisco, I was able to have a conversation as Alfonso Rosario has the count in his favor at 2-0. And Alfonso drives one, well struck toward left field, but it hangs up, still hanging. I think for a moment Trent Carraway did not love the sun, but then he found the baseball and made the play.
Yeah, that sun came into play on a pop-up. I think it definitely came into the sun there. And Carraway also more comfortable in the outfield. I think he's playing the outfield to get another bat in the lineup. He usually is a shortstop, third baseman. But with his bats, you have to find a way to get him into the lineup. Did a good job hanging on with that.
And what David's saying, just to finish the thought, I've talked to Mike Trout about Jupiter. I've talked to Francisco Lindor about Jupiter, Freddie Freeman. I've talked to them about Jupiter, and they vividly, David, remember it. Vividly. These are the names of the game right now.
And so many of the names of the game come back while they're playing. Even at, you know, how many big leaguers did we see around this week, or former All-Americans or stuff? They come back to watch their team play. They come back to connect with baseball people. Their seasons are over.
Rushed off with that one, 3-1 the count. Of course, kind of a recently famous consistent visitor and coach is Joe Adele, who plays outfield for the Angels. That's ball 4. So he got Rosario, who just missed from squaring a baseball up, and then he walks Mendez. Mendez, by the way, struck out back in the second inning. And when they all look back upon it, the one thing that they talk about, the golf carts. they talk about the pressure of seeing the golf carts. Lindor recalls getting an 8 a.m. game and not loving it. He recalls that. He recalls being with his buddies in the pool at the hotel. Those are simple things. They all have wonderful lives financially right now. But there are many times when it's very easy to get a millionaire baseball player, and I mean that in a positive way, a millionaire baseball player to reflect on simpler times around this game. And this event's a part of it, David.
Yes.
He found the strike zone, 1-1 the count. Mike Miller working against Cooper McMullen. McMullen popped up to the third baseman back in the second inning. Middle of the infield, double play depth. They'd love a ground ball. Not with that pitch, you won't.
Well, my version of that, I guess, is the time a couple years ago I was coming from the stadium from watching a game, walking out to the Marlins field, and happened to get in step with Tim Doolin, the longtime founder and coach of the Doolin's Dodgers, and his assistant coach, Mookie Betts. And we had a nice walk all the way out to the back of the Marlins, me talking to Mookie about what I remembered when I saw him play in high school and stuff. And, you know, Mookie's season had ended early that year. He's still with the Red Sox. Obviously, he couldn't be here this year.
Well, snap throw, and it's thrown into right field. Let's see if there's two bases or one. Yeah, conservative, be smart. Mendez moved up. Smithwick trying to help his pitcher and steal it out. Never really got in the proper position to throw the baseball.
That sailed right out of his hand. That was over the first baseman's head from the moment he threw it. Kind of just a free base, and those bases are valuable.
Innings and bases, right? That's what we talk about.
Yeah.
Getting innings as a pitcher and bases as a hitter, as an offense. Popped up. Not an easy play. McGonigal fights that sun. Boy, he stuck with it. Wow. And those sunglasses, by the way, on his hat, not over his eyes. Yep, that may be about to switch. He really had to use his glove, and good for him using his glove.
Yeah.
He needed those.
Yeah, now and they're on now.
Kevin, you are a baseball player, my friend. Christopher Wally had a nice play defensively, digging a ball out at first a couple of innings ago. Had the look of a cutter as it hits the inside corner. A little tight slider. 0-1 the count to Wally. Yeah, Mookie Betts a PG alum for sure. Nice job there by Campbell. And as David mentioned, he of course isn't able to be here because Mookie Betts is a member of the team that's going to win the World Series this year, the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Or the team that some say is going to win the World Series.
Oh, that's some say thing. You can take that out. Sorry if I offended many of you. Just the fanboy in me for a moment. The 1-1. Got a commitment. Now he's got some options. He's got that breaking ball. He's already showed him to that one. He could elevate again and probably would get a swing.
That's actually something I have heard many, many times, that it's hard for a pitcher to try to do, a young pitcher, is elevate that fastball. It's a learned skill because so much of what you're taught is to work down, get on top of your pitches. And now the idea as a 17-year-old, you're going to be intentionally throwing it across the letters, doesn't flow as instinctively.
And that's kind of a last half-decade thing, too, where it's been asked more and more to learn how to do that when you're in high school. You said it, David. Go back to my generation of pitching. Everyone was taught you work down only. You occasionally, 2-3 times a game, would waste something up at the letters.
Yeah, 0-2 pitch or something. Then to do that, usually drop your arm slot and just get under the ball with intent, which is not really the best way to do it at all.
Fun little clapping going on with our smaller crowd of family and coaches. That's outside. That's a little bit too much life, and it drifted out of the zone. So now it's Tyler Zadalis. He walked back in the third, then went on a nice little aggressive tour around the bases, including grabbing an extra base on a fielder's choice, ground out, and scoring. The lone run thus far of this game. Fastball is inside. I want to say hello to one of the voices of Perfect Game, but also of MLB Network, one of the voices of the Arkansas Razorbacks, but we love working with Brett Dolan. He has found a way to watch us today on Perfect Game TV.
And he echoed your thought about who he's rooting for to win the World Series.
Well, good for Brett. Smart man. Outstanding voice in the major leagues, and he and I were able to work together at that level. Now we work at this level too, but he's one of the big parts of MLB's network presentation each week of the YouTube Game of the Week, traveling around the country, as that one is rolled foul. Select Festival voice last couple of years as well. South Carolina commit, headed to the SEC. Top 500 players at Dallas. He's played a little bit of third. Middle infielder by trade. Maybe a step to pull, that's about it. Gallagher will keep the runner close at second base. Had him drifting out front on a breaking ball. 1-2 the count.
Game seems to have lost just a little bit of energy in the last inning as we
Not
get into the middle
surprising, is it?
innings. And these guys have already played, what, 17 innings now. They're in their 17th inning of play today. But we have a runner in scoring position and in 2 outs and a talented hitter up in a 1-0 ball game. You'd think there'd be a little more tension here, but I just don't feel it from either dugout, really.
Runner took off, runner stole third, runner stayed put at first, and Wally Mendez scampered off, kept going, wasn't trailed by Christopher Wally.
That was an interesting play because the Canes play together a lot. They're so well coached, and there was some real open miscommunication there between Smithwick and his middle infielders because Gallagher made a nice play there. That's a tough pickup, and if that trickles away, the runner who's now on third was ready to go. But Smithwick, it was a plan. In one sense, it was a plan. He didn't even look at third base. He was going to second, except for there was no runner going to second.
And a nice play by Gallagher, playing on a hop behind the bag. 2-2 breaking ball, the hammer. A well-rounded athlete, as a matter of fact, one-time captain of a junior gold hockey team as a sophomore in high school. That's Mike Miller. He strands a pair.
It started with a simple idea: to break what the game knows, to evolve the standard. It's time to revolutionize defense. Printed in 4D for a breakthrough in technology. Ultra lightweight, resilient, form fit, game ready and pro tested. Designed for a revolution. Engineered for defense. The Rev 1X.
This is the only show devoted to amateur baseball. This is Perfect Game Weekly, presented by Rawlings.
Left-handed stroke, a lot of whip, a lot of natural loft to it.
Ever since I started baseball, I've been working hard to reach my goal, and that is one day to get drafted and to make it to the MLB.
A two-seam changeup with me throwing a two-seam fastball.
So, David, he struck out the side in the third inning, and for those that may be just hopping on, 5 strikeouts in 3 innings. Why?
31 pitches in 3 innings, 74% for strikes. That would be the first inning one. The second is how well he's manipulated that curveball. As I was saying last inning, he's got his swing and miss curveball that he buries, and he's got his throw it for a strike, get it over curveball. And both have been equally effective, and he's known at what counts to throw which pitch.
Hides his eyes behind that glove. Kevin McGonigal, one of the nation's best hitters, steps out of the box and then back in. Kevin flied to center field back in the first inning. And that was the pitch that he made contact with in order to make the out. It was actually a pretty good pitch that was down.
It's interesting how deep Ariel Antigua is playing at shortstop. He's a couple steps onto the grass, and McGonigal's a 6'3" runner, or 6'5" runner, excuse me. And if he hits the ball anywhere but short of Antigua, Antigua's gonna have no chance to make that play. He's gonna have to be coming through the ball. If he hits it anywhere in that gap, he's not going to get the runner out.
Riley Jackson dove into that net earlier, fires the mask away and gives it a look. Well, there once was a time 6 years ago when John Abraham was brand new to this travel ball space. As a matter of fact, Little John and his team Factor Baseball played in a perfect game event in Fort Myers. 11U Florida State Championship, and Little John lived 55 to 58 miles an hour, and Little John was 5'3" and 90 pounds back then.
I love stuff like that because we're going to get the call there? No, we did not get the call. It's because I see so many 13 and 14-year-olds play. I'm seeing class of 2028 players play, and you see them and they're 5'4", 115 pounds, and you can see actions. You can see athleticism, but they're 40, 50 pounds away at least from being able to show competitive tools.
The curveball nets a ground ball, and A.J. Ewing turns it into an out, a 4-3 ground out. He has Kevin McGonigal with an 0 for 2 line, and you may be able to win a game if you can do that the entire game. There's really no chances, though, to come up for air. And again, we watch a little bit more closely. This team is really communicating, hitter to hitter to hitter. And this is the second time through. McGonigal, the first man to get a second at bat. Now, Kevin Gallagher, who struck out back in the first inning.
I think part of that communication is between the catcher, Riley Jackson, and Abraham, because to throw those breaking balls that I've talked about before requires some communication and some anticipation by the catcher, some working with your catcher and his instructions by the pitcher. That's the get me over breaking ball. You know, it's an 0-1 count. He's not, there's no reason to look for a swing and miss. If the hitter grounds it out, that's fine. But that's just thrown for a strike, but he's thrown it. The one thing to have a plan, the second is to execute it. That was the swing and miss breaking ball. They got up just a little bit high, but he's executing every single pitch.
The modern pitcher talks about pull downs, basically a drill that is best done at times indoors where you're moving forward. Momentum goes forward, basically throw it as hard as you can with that arm, almost like you're pulling down. Think of a shade. And boy, when I see that curveball, I think of a pull down, really getting up on top of that baseball, then throwing it as hard as you can. Fastball just off the plate. He took a walk like maybe he was hoping to get the call. It's a very good pitch, though.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly where he wanted to. He wanted to throw the ball outside, get the hitter reaching, maybe roll over to the second baseman. Not a swing and miss pitch. That was the swing and miss pitch he wanted, but
clearly held up on that one. I would go back to McGonigal's and say that was crazy close. That fastball high before he grounded out, it looked like he might have. This one, it clearly appeared as if Gallagher held up. Not an easy call for an umpire to make, especially with a darker bat. Breaking ball, spoils it. We'll do it again. It's been a heck of an at-bat. John Abraham takes his hat off. If I'm hitting, I like seeing signs like that.
Well, what pitch do you throw? Do you throw the curveball for a strike, the swing and miss curveball, or you go with another fastball?
Drop a curveball in there. He tried to. He tried to throw, as you said, the get-me-over curveball. Tip of the cap to Gavin Gallagher. That's a heck of an at-bat.
Yeah, and after he took that ball forward, you could tell there was some intenseness still in his look. He was staring at Abraham and said, "Okay, I beat you." And for that at-bat, he did.
Johnny has a chance now. Farmello popped up back in the first inning.
Farmello had the other big hit in the come from behind semifinal win, and Gallagher got the winning RBI, but Farmello drove in the tying run with a double, drove in McGonigal, who was on second base.
Yeah, his lone hit in that game, it was, as you said, David, a double. Came around to eventually score as well. Gallagher, the lone multi-hit man in that game, as he stands out there at first with a pair of hits in the semifinals. Beat him with a fastball. Good pitch there.
He had a cut there. It was an aggressive cut, but when you've thrown so many strikes with your breaking ball, hitters have that in the back of their mind, even if it's a left-handed hitter like Farmello.
Folks, this guy can run, so if there is an alley out there somewhere that he can find, he has run as fast as a 6'3" at Perfect Game events. Just turned 18 years old. Back of the batter's box for Farmello. Fastball in.
Those outfielders are so deep, it's going to be awfully hard to find a gap. It's much more likely you'll find a ball drop in front of them because they're playing deep.
Wind has tended in this ballpark anyway to knock a lot of things down in the air as well. And we see that same type of wind easing in from right field right now. Got him with the breaking ball, and they fire down. Into center field that goes. So 2 outs in the inning.
That was good, even though the throw down to second didn't work out, but that's good awareness on Riley Jackson's part. Right away, knowing, not even any hesitation about thinking, I have to tag the hitter, something like that. He was up right away, throwing to second. Of course, there's a runner on first, so Farmello has no base to go to.
Campbell grounded back to the mound back in the second inning. Candle Smithwick. The Oxford, Mississippi Ole Miss commit.
Very young for a senior. Just turned 17 a couple months ago, was a 2020 14U select player.
Dugout hollered out, that ball's not down on the first base side. And the home plate umpire let him know it was out, which you can't see in or out from the dugout. You can't see up or down. He actually followed it up by saying it was out and down, and they followed back by saying it wasn't down. 1-0 the count.
That might be too much talking, actually, but
it's been a healthy back and forth.
Yeah, there's been some back and forth. I hope it doesn't escalate at all, but there's been plenty of back and forth. Yeah, there's a lot of people competing out here.
That one split the plate. It was right down Broadway. We saw Campbell a couple of years ago, and we enjoyed the experience. It was during the pandemic year of 2020 at the 14U Select Festival. He's the #1 catcher per the rankings, Perfect Game rankings in the state of Mississippi. Another breaking ball, rolled, first base side, underhanded flip, turned into an out by John Abraham. Well, the Canes find their opportunity with their first base runner of this contest, but in the end, that base runner is stranded. Great story developing, and it's developing around John Abraham.
Perfect game. On and off the field, it's a way of life. And now, that same passion, your passion, is represented in the brand new exclusive PG gear and clothing line. Designed with you in mind, the looks that you live in, whether during a sweat-soaked workout or a round of BP. Make your memories in perfect game gear. Thoughtful, comfortable, perfect for you. Visit shop.perfectgame.org.
I feel like Mike, Jordan, give me the rock and I'm scoring. Hey, came from the bottom, that's scoring. I swear that I'm up for the sun in the morning. I told him this ain't a game.
It's the top half of inning number 5. Michael Miller goes back to work. We were telling you about the young man from Mendota, Minnesota, who's at St. Thomas Academy and is a Duke commit, that he not only has played other sports, he's played them well. As a sophomore, he was a captain of a junior gold Minnesota team, hockey, perennial high school team captain of his baseball team. When you see who he is as a student, he's a really good one. 3-time Eagle Award recipient, cumulative GPA just a tick below a 4.0. And he's been good. He's really quieted things down.
And that's pretty much his job. You know, they're down 1-0. Obviously still a ball game. Just come in, throw strikes, make good pitches. He's got the 9, 10, and leadoff hitters up this inning. Top tier using a DH and an EH. Batting 10 players.
Landon Morotis to lead things off. Canes National Mets scout team against the top tier 5-star team. And when there is a hit in this game, and you would assume there will be, it will be the first for either team.
I hadn't noticed that, actually. My goodness.
The lone run, scoring back in the 3rd inning, started with a Zadalis walk. There was a hit batter in that inning as well. Zadalis had moved himself around to second base, and then on a fielder's choice ground out, he just kept running, trying to turn a double play. He just kept on running, and he scored the first and only run of the game, and nary a hit for either team at this point. And there's another walk. As far as free passes go, that is 5 that have been handed out by this Canes team. They also have hit 2 batters, so you're creating a lot of chances for, if in fact they do get hot with the bats. You just want to stay away from that. Let's see if, in fact, they'll make a call to the bullpen. We talked about it earlier. There was some action down in that pen, and I think we're about to witness a change.
It was Reese Markham warming up before.
It was Reese. I think this is Chase Meyer.
Chase Meyer, number 26. Yes, it is indeed.
Brand new commit to West Virginia. He came into this event one of the top uncommitted players and pitchers in the country. And we can see on that graphic, uncommitted, I mean literally just yesterday committed to West Virginia.
Yeah, and the irony is that he did not have a good outing in his first outing. Inning and 2/3, walked 5. Stuff was outstanding, 91, 94, just swing and miss stuff, but he didn't have his command. So that's going to be the first thing to look for, whether that was just a matter of nerves in pool play or what, or maybe he was thinking about the commitment that he was making. But he needs to be focused right now on the top tier hitters and throwing strikes, because the stuff is great. He's ranked 74th overall in the country. you know, showed out very well at the national showcase. You can watch how his arm works there. It's easy, smooth, low effort.
In the summertime, Chase shared with me he was thinking about places like TCU, Ole Miss, Baylor. He has made the relationship now and made the commitment. Wendy and Leonard are his parents, siblings Lexi and Jordan, Brittany and Logan. Logan's just 4 years old, and Chase loves, interestingly enough, Alex Manoah.
I was just looking up Alex Manoah to be prepared to say something about Manoah, who obviously enjoyed outstanding success at West Virginia, ending up as a first-round draft pick and now arguably one of the top 2 or 3 best young pitchers in the American League.
That's pretty cool that he had not made that decision on West Virginia, but yet already was glad to share about Alek Manoah. Meyer, a really good athlete, basketball, football, and also then an all-state pitcher, first team, all-region. 4-seamer, 2-seamer, curveball, slider, changeup. Those are his words in his self-scouting report. He pours a fastball over the outside corner. It is strike one to Riley Jackson. Top of the 5th inning, squaring the bunt, pops that one up, and up against the backstop it goes.
You can see Jackson with a little bit of self-talk. The first thing that you're always taught on when bunting from the time you're in Little League is don't bunt a pitch out of the strike zone, especially put the bat at the top of the strike zone and anything under that. And Riley went up and tried to chase that high fastball. Did the predictable thing, fouling it off.
Breaking ball missed way outside and off the plate. Big aggressive swing as he fouls that one off.
That was the right center field swing. He took a hack at it. He was getting his body momentum out over the plate. He'd squared that up. That was a right center field gap type of shot.
You can see on the graphic top left, already up to 92 miles an hour. Like a hockey goalie back behind the plate, Campbell Smithwick keeps it with him.
Smithwick has made a number of nice stops, especially on breaking balls. And each one of those is a base. I mean, if you don't block that, it's a base. His top tier has had base runners on almost continuously the last couple innings.
Seven-inning game. Different than games earlier in this event. There is no time limit. We play till there's a winner, and that's ball 4.
The run rule rules are still in effect, and they've actually been used in championship games before, but it's pretty obvious that they don't apply today.
No, it doesn't feel like it because it's, what, 8 after 5?
8 after 5, yes.
Yeah, I don't feel like that applies.
But
I agree with you.
Otherwise, straight baseball, and if we go extra innings, if we're tied after 7 innings, it's going to be straight baseball after that. There's no load the bases with 1 out or anything like that. We will play baseball until we have a winner.
Anderson Nance is running at first base. Anderson Nance, who's an NC State commit.
Nance has had a couple appearances on the mound, but a very talented two-way athlete. As Antigua trying to get that bunt down.
Took a stab at it, sent it back to the screen. Ariel, that fielder's choice is what started the merry-go-round and had Zadalas come all the way around from second base. He reached safely on a fielder's choice, and eventually Zadalas scored on that very same play, going from second to home.
Kind of interesting seeing Antigua, who is their hottest hitter, undoubtedly bunting again, taking that for a ball. And the Canes are charging very aggressively with their first baseman, but the third baseman is staying back. Shortstop McGonigal basically on second base holding the runner.
No sign of bunt shown that time, as that one missed outside. 2-1 the count. Interestingly enough, you talk about Meyer with his brand new commitment. This man hitting, one of the highest ranked uncommitted hitters, deciding where he wants to play as he pokes that one to the right side. Just foul. Well, that would have had impact. A lot of it. It was a couple of years back when Antigua was a member of the Select Festival roster at the 14U age group that we were able to meet and joyfully meet his younger brother Johan, a cancer survivor. What a spirit he brought to that event, Baby Bro did. Got him to chase. Fastball away. That's strike 3.
Little anxiousness there that you don't usually see from Antigua, but that just speaks to the importance of every pitch here. Very polished hitter who usually doesn't chase that pitch. He knows it right away. Roll of the eyes, roll of the head. Dang. Hoping his teammate Drew Burris can pick him up.
0-1 the count to Drew. Runners on first and second. 1 out now. Burris walked back in the third inning. Was stranded, also popped up to the second baseman.
Looks like he's going through stretching exercises before he swings.
That one skips to the backstop. Now a single, all the difference in the world. Smithwick unable to stretch out to get that one. It's an interesting approach offensively, David, when you watch Burris hit. Pretty open stance from the right side. You don't see a ton of right-handed hitters that start open.
But you notice he gets closed and set so early. All that is just his own way of his own mental yoga almost going on to get ready. But when the pitcher is into his delivery, he gets squared up early. If you look at his swing, he's starting from the same point every single time. He's rocking close early, quick hands there.
Very quick hands. Line drive center field. It's a base hit. One scores, a 2 RBI single, and an amazing reaction at first base. All sorts of emotion for Drew Burris.
Yeah, that was just good hitting. You saw he wasn't going for the home run. He's got 11 home runs this year in PG play. That wasn't a home run swing. That was I've got hitters in scoring position. Let's hit it right at the pitcher's head, make him duck, pick up 2 RBIs.
I love that you were breaking down his approach when that happened. That was beautiful, because that's exactly what you were talking about. He's ready to hit. He closes up. He stays off balance and does that.
He knew the infield was in. He knew all he had to do was get the barrel hard on the ball, and his chance of picking up 2 RBIs was really high.
Boy, that was a pro approach right there, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. That was game awareness, situational awareness, do the right thing, execute.
So 3-0 is the score. That one grabs the outside corner. Good dip and dive to that ball. Two and 1 the count. What a huge piece of hitting. Oh my goodness.
A.J. Ewing takes a hack.
Oh my.
That hurt. The reason I mentioned last time Ewing was up that I think he's one of the picks to click is he's so tooled up. 6'4" runner. That kind of left-handed bat speed. Every ball he hit at National Showcase was 100+ mile an hour exit velocity. He's even his foul balls. And he's looking to do damage to the ball, but he's also such a good athlete. Can play a lot of different positions on the field. If he gets a little bigger, gets that swing under control a little bit, you know, you're gonna have a real good ball player. Not that he isn't right now, Interesting, he's ranked 75th overall in the senior class. The man he's facing on the mound, Chase Meyer, bests him by 1, the 74th ranked player. Clarify, it is a 3-2 count.
Into the catcher's mitt it goes. Frustrated with himself, he goes down on strikes. Again, a reminder, that hit by Burris, the first hit of the game.
First hit of the game.
He picked a perfect time. I mean, there couldn't be a better time to have that first hit of the game. Alfonso Rosario now. He had some lightning come up with that hit out at first. Here's your thunder in Rosario.
Caraway way back in left field.
Four times, David, I apologize. The Canes organizational team has won this event. Runner on the move, that's Burris. He stole it, the throw is high. Into center field where Farmello will haul it back in. You're talking about Caraway, though, really playing deep.
Yeah, that's the respect for Alfonso Rosario. Right here, we can't allow a double. Got to be able to track that down. A double's going to score another run. Actually, now that Burris is at second base, playing that deep, a single is certainly going to score the speedy Burris.
Big hack, just got a piece of it. No balls and 2 strikes to count on the All-American. Hit by a pitch back in the second inning, also flied to left field. But a top-tier team or a 5-star team, as they work together as a roster in this event, have never won here at Jupiter.
No, they are one I referred to early at the beginning of the broadcast, the blue bloods that we're playing. You know, these top organizations, and while top tier and 5-star have never won Jupiter, both have always been amongst that upper echelon of travel teams. So it's not surprising they combined forces get to this level. But as you're right, you know, as you said, neither of them worn the Jupiter crown before.
On the ground, into center field. Here comes Burris, hurrying toward the plate. He will score. Rosario grabs an extra base as well. It's 4-0.
Yeah, that's opportune that Rosario, especially after coming up with that clutch hit, he was thinking, had to be thinking second base the entire way, because that just wasn't one that you normally advance on, and he advanced easily. And just a little bit of letdown there by the Canes.
I kind of caught him flat-footed a little bit, because I think if things are executed, they've got him. I believe the ball was dropped in the exchange. Right here.
Yeah, but Rosario's still going. Look at this.
Wesley Mendez now takes his chance. Will buy some time out on the mound. Kendall Smithwick continuing the conversation. Campbell done. Goes into a jog to get back to home plate. So we can go back to work, he and his mates. And the ball comes loose down that left field line from the bullpen. Myers ready to go now. And a pretty fastball hits the outside corner for a strike. Way off the plate that time. High fly ball, well struck right, but it holds.
catchers, and their programs where the players played for the younger versions of the teams, you know, the 15U team, the 16U team. And that sense of continuity is so important in a tournament like this. And I think also in part because this is the last game. We've talked about this almost every game we've watched. This is the last game these players will play in these uniforms. And that's very important to these players.
Lifted, left side. Tommy Roldan. Long run. That one is put away by Mendez.
John Abraham's on quite a streak. I mentioned his last appearance at a PG event back in mid-September. He threw 4 perfect innings. So what? He's retired 25 of his last 26 hitters that he has faced at high-level competitions.
Well, that's been a big part of his success, hasn't it?
He's just in a groove. He thinks he can throw every one of his pitches right where he wants them, and so far he can.
That one's fouled off. His pitch count, we show you 4 up there. His pitch count is actually 57 unofficially. That's such a low pitch count as he works with 57 pitches. I mean, crazy low. Just got a piece of a breaking ball. He's going to have to hurry. John slips from his backside. I mean, he's been amazing. He has been amazing, but he's not that amazing to turn that into an out.
No, and he's disappointed with himself. I don't think he was going to get him anyway, and then his cleat slipped out from under him, and he was still disappointed himself he couldn't make that play. But the Canes' first hit today breaks that hitless streak. More importantly, puts a runner on first base.
Trent Caraway breaks up the no-hitter. First hit of the game. How about that? In the championship game. Fastball over the outside corner for a strike.
Lavin's had some big hits so far this week. Co-leader for the Canes with 6 RBIs, picked up 3 of those in their semifinal win.
Back to the screen it goes. 60 pitches now for the right-hander. As he adds to that tally. And it's a no-ball, 2-strike count. Breaking ball. And that one is popped up foul. John Abraham. Turning in an incredible performance. Young man out of Tampa, Florida, who has played some of the outfield at Perfect Game events. First outing here in Jupiter. Luke Lavin called time. David, the bullpen is just dead quiet out there.
Absolute quiet. You've probably got 10 pitchers on in their dugout right now who are eligible and anxious to pitch. And right now, none of them are going to get the opportunity if Abraham doesn't run into any problems.
He threw that right on the knuckles. Will they get any? Safe. Out. They call him out with the tag. He got him with the tag, and it's a double play. A.J. Ewing popped that tag down. He got Caraway streaking by.
mind when that ball was hit. I thought there was no chance at it. You know, our question was, what was Trent Carraway thinking on that? The same thing, that there was no way that Ewing could tag him. Ewing had such fast, sure hands on that. But just a highly, highly unlikely play. And I was looking at the Canes bench to see whether, you know, it's hard to see that angle whether the tag was made or not. And there wasn't a single word from the Canes bench. It almost looked like a deflating thing where they're like, oh my goodness, what else can happen?
Well, the second base umpire was in a perfect position to call it, and this umpiring crew's done a wonderful job in this game as we move along.
And that's one of the advantages of having a four-man crew, which almost all perfect game tournament games, including earlier in this event, 2 umpire crews. This, of course, has 4 in the championship game.
That's a base hit into left field. Cooper McMullen, he was 0 for 2, a couple of outs in the air. This one's in the air, but it lands on green grass. And so Cooper starts it with a single.
And that's kind of become the theme for top-tier 5-stars, getting that leadoff hitter on base. That just changes what the whole offensive mindset so much when your leadoff hitter's on base.
Strike one, hits the outside corner to Christopher Wally. He walked, was stranded back in the 4th inning. We talked about it earlier. He really made a nice play digging a ball out of the dirt a couple of innings ago. I mean, a straight throw into the dirt that he cleaned up so nicely at first base.
And you think how early in the game that can be a little bit of a momentum changer. He doesn't make that play. The ball gets past him. We've got a runner on second base all of a sudden. And it's a different scenario. And especially early in the game where it seemed like runs were going to be at a complete premium, you know, that stands out as a key defensive play.
One ball and 2 strikes to count. Chase Meyer looks at a defense behind him as he checks the runner. McGonigal playing close to the second base bag. They'd love nothing more than a ground ball here and hurrying back into the dugout after 2, then 1 more out to start hitting again. They have just 1 hit, and it was a swinging bunt. No one warming still. Pulls the hands in, rolls it to the right side. Back to the bag to receive the underhanded flip is Luke Lavin. Upon contact, he had taken a run at that ball, then turned around and went back to home base, which is first base. Runner moves to second. Good pitch. Very good pitch.
Meyer's made plenty of good pitches. The stuff has been very firm. You know, hasn't had the strike problem that affected his earlier appearance. But it's just when he's gotten a fastball there in the middle of the zone just like that, it's been clobbered.
Tyler Zadalis, base hit left field. Sit and spin on that one. He was ready. Runner moves to third. Runner, remember, had moved up on the ground ball. So Tyler's been on now a couple of times. He scored a run, remember, hustling back in the 3rd inning. Zadalis, the young man out of Charlotte, North Carolina. The 2023, who's the South Carolina commit. Is this a hitter's meeting, David?
I was wondering about that myself.
Now this will precipitate a visit to the mound as well. Wonder why this was something deemed important. You see a lot of this in college.
Well, thank you to Major League Baseball for developing some rules to speed up the pace of the game. Yeah, I don't understand I understand a coach's visit to the mound to talk to your pitcher. I don't understand base runner meetings. I just do not understand baseball runners meetings.
Well, here we go. We're back.
We have runners at first and third. That's fine. Okay, are we going to run a Are we going to do a steal? Are we going to do a double steal? Are we going to run a hesitation? You have signs for all that.
Well, let's see what happens. Let's watch together what this meeting produces. That pitch is outside.
Okay, are we going to squeeze? Are we going to safety squeeze?
To Landon Morotis.
But these are kids who played a heck of a lot of baseball.
Stabs at that one.
Sometimes I wonder, since the players here who are such good players, Landon Morotis, a PG All-American, probably bats leadoff for Cavalry Christian, clean up, middle of the order. I wonder how many times he's bunted in a game in the last couple years.
Probably not much in high school, we'll tell you that right now.
No.
Well, he has to take a shot at a couple of bunts. He's got 2 strikes on him, and Meyer thinking, I'm going to look to convert this. I'm dying for a strikeout. Now I got 2 strikes. Let's see if he can make a pitch.
Yeah, those were pretty half-hearted attempts. Let's see if he can get a swing now and get a pitch he can hit.
He did, and he hits a high fly ball to right center field. Toward the alley it goes. It's run down out there by Tommy Roldan. That is a sac fly. That is an RBI, and that is 5-0. Top tier, 5-star.
One can almost sense the relief in Morotis saying, oh, I've missed two bunts. Now I can swing away and get this RBI. But he hit that real hard. Real solid contact.
He did. And you're hitting it into the teeth of the wind. Our umpiring crew has done a really nice job. Runner goes, throw down, a test for an umpire. Out is the call, a beautiful throw. Denver Dangerfield, the umpire on. +60 pitches and given up 1 hit, a swinging bunt.
Well, one thing I noticed coming out for the inning, he was the first position player out on the field.
Oh, I love that.
He crossed the foul line first before any of his teammates were going out there. He was pounding the ball into his glove, getting focused and everything like that. He was standing on the mound. He had 2 of his teammates on the field. So he is ready to go.
Well, he's about to dive down and to the lower tiers of this lineup. He's got Ryan Jaros, he's got Macon Winslow, then he's got Kevin McGonigal. If you're counting, of those 3 hitters, 2 of them are PG All-Americans.
Yeah, the bottom of the order and the leadoff hitter, it's all in perspective. But no, there are nobody even looking down to the bullpen, I think, down the right field line.
Now this young man, it is his game at this point. As we said, the pitch count manageable, just a tick over 60. Ryan leads it off. And that one, 1-0, the count misses just off the plate. Ryan struck out back in the 3rd inning, and as a matter of fact, in that inning, he struck out the side, did Abraham. John tried to hit the upper tier of the strike zone. Suddenly the strike zone got a little bit smaller on a couple of pitches. JT Shaw has done a great job calling balls and strikes behind the plate. Travis Roberson is at first. We talked about Denver Dangerfield at second. 2-1. The third base umpire is Elliot Mellon. And it's a steamy day out there, so nice job, Men in Blue. Buried that fastball in. Popped up back of second base. A.J. Ewing, 1 out.
Interesting thing about that was really the four straight fastballs. The curveball has been such a go-to pitch for Abraham, and just went out and challenged with fastballs, got the first out of the inning. And he's about to, after one more hitter, start going through the lineup for the third time. So we'll see what adjustments he makes with his pitch selection when he gets to that.
Strike one.
There's the bread and butter pitch.
Yeah, that breaking ball.
Curveball for strike one.
Macon struck out swinging back in the third inning. 0-2 the count.
He's right back on that rubber. He was back on that rubber so fast he couldn't get there fast enough.
The 0-2. Thought about it, but didn't. It was a little bit more than 1 year ago that John Abraham was pitching in this event, yet the underclass version in Fort Myers, Florida. He pitched well, pitched 3 innings, struck out 4. He topped out at 89 miles an hour. 1 year later, it's a heroic effort as the breaking ball is high.
You could see him switching the grip and the glove that time, going with the breaking ball. I think the first 2 strikes has him in a breaking ball mode, especially to Winslow.
Breaking ball. That's strike 3 over the outside corner. Hammer time with that one.
And even with 2 strikes, that was the strike curveball. That wasn't the Barry curveball. That was maybe his best one of the game. That
7.
was sharp and stuck right in the perfect location.
Good call, D. 7 strikeouts. He rose to the occasion a couple of years ago at a showcase as he deals with Kevin McGonigal, the All-American. And the breaking ball on the inside corner, strike 1. That summer of 2021, Junior National, he touched 90 miles an hour, and that was more than a year ago. Pretty heady number as the count is 0-2. By the way, Kevin, completely comfortable hitting with 2 strikes.
Oh, there's no more comfortable hitter in the country with 2 strikes. He's going to wait. It's going to be the same way when he's in college. It's going to be the same way if he goes straight to pro ball. I can almost guarantee you that when you look up his stats from A ball in 2 years, if he does indeed go straight to pro ball, that he's going to have more walks and strikeouts. That doesn't mean he might not strike out here, but he's always going to be a low strikeout, high walk hitter.
He's from Pennsylvania. That's a fastball. That's a ground ball. This is an amazing outing coming down on the base. He is 3 outs away from what would be some kind of history. Reese Markham out of Lexington, South Carolina, within the top 400 overall in player rankings and a South Carolina commit. A big chance for Reese, certainly, because the goal, the same as his mates, is do his best to keep it at 0. Keep your team within a chance of a grand slam. And so, Reese, these are really important innings, really important outs.
Yeah, it's giving your team a chance. He's pitched a scoreless inning earlier in this event, ranked number 398 in the country. Threw at the PG National back in July and threw really well, up to 91 on the fastball. Kind of pitcher on a less deep pitching staff might have made a couple more appearances, maybe even started this game, but the Canes go so deep with their pitchers.
Well, Riley Jackson's been a man who is vying for that greatest supporting actor. And this, what has turned out to be a spectacular motion picture, if you will, working behind the plate as the catcher for the efforts of John Abraham. And what makes it so much fun is they're not high school teammates. They don't know each other really super well, but they know each other enough to do what they're doing today. And he goes to work. It's a high fly ball toward left field, toward the corner of that baseball. Goes, it's a fair ball, and it bounds over the wall. It was a ground rule double, and what made that fun, Mr. Riley Jackson, is it did bounce over the wall. If it hit the wall in a bounce, you may have had to hurry for that double. I think he thought he got it.
Oh, he definitely thought he got it. He spent a long time on the dirt watching it, but we've been here all week, Darren. The ball just doesn't carry, but he squared up that. He's hit some home runs in his career. He's a high-level hitter, and he thought he got that. Have your moment, Riley. You hit it good. I never mind when hitters. Oops. Okay.
And he hit him in the backside. Antigua wears one. And an opportunity, and that's really all this is, for Drew Burris. Double, now base runner. Antigua will take off his protective gear at first. And we'll go back to work now. It's Drew Burris, and the fastball is up and away, 1-0 the count.
I think you're going to see a little bit different swing approach from Burris this at-bat from last at-bat. Last at-bat, it was strictly single, get the barrel on the ball, runners in scoring position, infield in. It's going to be a bigger swing, but he doesn't come up with it.
He got out front. They won't attempt to turn it. Really good speed. He did take a bigger swing. He cued that ball.
Yeah, got out in front of that. But at that point, if you're Drew Burris, you're looking to drive a ball up the gap. Just didn't get it done that time, but he's done it so many times in the past.
Antigua heads back to the dugout. Rubbing on that backside just a little bit. Don't know that I blame him. It's A.J. Ewing, the second baseman. A.J.'s 0 for 3, but he has played an incredibly dependable second base. He has been involved in a handful of plays and good ones.
That double play at second was still a wow play.
And A.J. takes up and away off the plate. 1-0 the count from the right arm of Reese Markham. Stands 6'1". Bouncing ball. This is a shot at 2. There is one. McGonigal fires it. It is a double play. Plenty of magic left in that third base dugout. They have done all sorts of heroic things throughout this event. It's the Canes Mets combo team looking to pull a rabbit out of their hat and do so against John Abraham. Last chance for the Canes National Mets scout team. They trail it by a score of 5-0. John Abraham, the story. He has allowed just one hit. It was off the bat of Trent Carraway. He only hit it about 30 feet. A swinging bunt, third base side. Abraham actually tried to make a throw from his backside. He's got 3 big outs to get, and they're going to be very difficult to earn against this Canes team. But this is a historic performance. Usually deep outings in this event are 3, 4, 5 innings because you're gassed as a pitching staff.
I haven't seen every single championship game here, but I was racking my memory after last inning to try to remember a similar final game appearance. And if one happened, it's certainly going back a long way. And the reason it ever happens, most pitchers have thrown before in this event. It's almost unique that Five Star had a pitcher in Abram that had not pitched yet in this event, was completely fresh arm, hadn't pitched before in the last couple days. And not only to have that fresh arm, but to throw the way he has is pretty unprecedented.
John Abraham from Tampa Jesuit in Tampa, Florida. 17 and a half years old. And at this point, an uncommitted pitcher. As Abraham has that ball poked into right field, he went down and got a fastball, and that was a beautiful approach by Gavin Gallagher. His fastball has played way, way up today because of the breaking ball command, and that was nothing more than a protect swing.
And that's the way Gallagher's been all tournament. He's been one of the best players on the field every game he's played in. That's just such a mature job of hitting. But you're right about the fastball. It's been 87, 88 mostly, but it looks bigger because of that curveball.
That's had big old muscles. I mean, it's come to the plate looking to punch hitters out and have uncomfortable contact. He's going to work out of the stretch, which bears mentioning. Now, there have been other base runners. It could be 2 quick outs. A little high flip on to first, off the bag. And that's the right call. Antigua a little bit wide, took it up the line that time. Wally, again, who made a nice dig earlier, made a nice choice to give up the bag there.
Yeah, I'm going to hang that on A.J. Ewing. He didn't need to rush that throw to second. That ball was scalded, maybe the hardest hit ball the Canes have had all game. And he had all day to use his footwork and make a good, accurate throw to second. And he chose that quick 30-foot flip, and it didn't work out. Antigua was off balance the whole way. Really would have been surprised if he could have made an accurate throw.
Well, that ball was hit hard.
Yeah, that was scalded.
Fastball up and out of the zone, 1-0 the count. Campbell Smithwick, the catcher, has done a fine job behind the plate. Both outs have been comebackers to Abraham. A pretty stance, loading up his back leg. The fastball right in, buried it in his hands, in center field. Trying to turn one over, a little decoy, having some fun with it. Burris acted like he didn't see it. He saw it the whole time. 1 out away from a championship.
You want to talk about discipline? There's no hope there's going to be a throw down over to first base on that. Riley Jackson was backing up. He was 90 feet down the line, backing up that throw to first, with 2 outs in the 7th inning, and up by 5 runs.
The talented right-hander. Still works out of the stretch and does so against Tommy Roldan. And it's popped up left side. Giving it a run is Morotis into foul territory, leaning over, nearly made an incredible play on top of the tarp. Boy, you gotta love that effort.
If he could have jumped up on top of the tarp, he would have gotten it, but that would be impossible. But that was like, is that the ball game? Is that the ball game? But the Canes lived to take another swing.
Struck out, flied out to left field. The 0-1. No balls and 2 strikes to count. The sword has been the breaking ball today. When he takes it out of the sheath, that has been so dangerous. He's had multiple styles of breaking balls. A floater for a strike or a hammer for a swing and a miss.
And he's been all fastballs here in the bottom of the 7th. It'd be only fitting to end the game on a sword.
Abraham with the 0-2. Breaking ball popped up. Center field. Drew Burris puts it away. It's a complete game shutout for John Abraham. Top tier, 5-star. They win Jupiter. The 2022 World Wood Bat Association World Champions, top tier 5-star behind the heroic efforts of John Abraham. A complete game shutout.
Before every game, I like to anticipate a story. That's a story I would have never, ever anticipated. You have two great teams. You expect it to be a team effort, but John Abraham took over this game from the first inning, was the dominant player, and wow is all I have to say.
Congratulations to top tier 5-star